Okay, so it's Indigo, it's Amy True.
Yes.
We're here in South London and we've met together today to discuss how to be prepared, not to create fear,
No.
but how to be prepared for the coming times
Yes.
and the potential of a blackout potentially,
Yeah.
and we're seeing it right now, aren't we, sister? With Marks and Spencers, with
The co-op.
Co-op, with Harrods,
Yeah.
with Portugal, with
That's right.
Spain,
Yeah.
blackouts, cyber attacks.
Taking down the grids.
Taking down the grids.
Yeah.
It's even happened in Russia recently. They've their banking system just went down.
That's right.
So we're looking at the world.
Yeah.
And let's just be honest, it's an anxious place to be at right now.
It is, but we're coming from a grounded place and we're being realistic with this just in case. Like, look at what happened in lockdown. People weren't expecting it. All of a sudden, you can't even breathe the air. Don't go outside, you know. It's a bit much. And I'm sure that a lot of us can see now that that was a hoax. You know, COVID was a hoax. No disrespect to anybody who has lost their lives through taking a ting and stuff like that. It's never about I told you so. It's never trying to be better than anyone else. We are all here together as humans on planet Earth. So this is just in case. What do we do?
Yeah.
So I'd like to start with, again, this isn't about fear. We're just here to create these conversations because we can. It's not illegal to think.
Yeah.
So what do we do in our communities, in our areas, in our estates when these things happen? They've already been doing like predictive programming during lockdown with films like The Purge and stuff like that, making people think they can just go off and act loose and anarchy, and there's so much chaos already.
There's a show on Netflix. I recommend people watch it. I think it's called Yesterday. I'm not sure if you've heard of it, but it's literally showing you like the banking system going down and like the middle class suddenly having nothing and like the panic. And like you said with The Purge, movies like this are predictive programming. It's almost testing. How do we react? How do we perceive these movies? And hopefully they want us to act like that.
Yeah, they're giving us a narrative to like drop a seed, a negative seed, and it doesn't have to be negative. Of course, when the lights go out, if it does happen, people are going to panic. So what sort of simple things do we need to protect ourselves? Like simple things like having, you know, battery packs charged and things like that, solar paneled, you know, things that can, you know, charge with the sun, as long as they don't keep dimming the sun, you know, who knows. Checking on older people in your environment and talking to your communities now before it happens. I know some people don't understand it. So the people that you can talk to about it, even if you drop it in like comically, like, oh yeah, you know, they're dimming out the sun, or oh yeah, imagine if, but things are happening. So how do we protect ourselves? You know, we need to stay in our homes. We need to make sure that we have enough food. Like, what sort of food do we need? You know, protecting children, protecting women. You know, men are here to protect the women. You know, as much as women might think they're strong and independent, you know, we're not as strong as men, and it's never about violence either. I know people are like, yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I really don't think that we need to be violent at all. It's do no harm, but it's self-defense. Like, that's where I'm coming from. I'm not trying to make people get aggy and get all like this. It's about staying calm. Even when the lights go out and some people are acting loose, just stay calm. You know, I'm sure some people will do like the whole looting thing if it does happen. Fine, corporations and things like that. But do you really need a plasma TV and some night trainers and that right now? Like,
It's funny, I did a blackout preparation video on my TikTok, and the last thing on the preparation was my faith. People were like, I'm seeing a lot of blackout and preppers video, but no one's talking about, are you going to stay deeply connected? We all experience numbers like 1111. We all experience synchronicities and things happening. Do we think that's going to stop when Babylon falls? No, I actually think it's going to get louder. The universe, Jah, whatever you want to call it, the Most High is going to speak to us even more, but only if we can remain grounded. We don't drop in our frequency and like start panicking. But this is why, if you're watching this video now, you have the opportunity to go and prepare. Because to prepare means you're 10 steps ahead of everyone else.
And it doesn't mean you're like being
paranoid,
frantic or paranoid. You're literally preparing. Like, look at other places in the world right now. They've already gone through blackouts. They're already having things shut down. Look at Palestine. Look at Sudan, look at like Congo, like there's wars happening already. And obviously, the spiritual war is happening. So whether you're religious or not religious, whoever you are, you matter, and you need to be safe and you need to be calm. So what sort of things, you know, people like want water filters, because if there is a blackout, you're not going to be able to go to your local shop. Your fridge and your freezer, it won't be there. Like, what do we do? You know, and it's not just us here to tell you you're going to do this, but just, you can go online and look at other people that have prepped. See the basic things that they have, you know. Yeah, it's, you know, it's sometimes we're not going to know what to do, but just have the basic things that you need. A lot of people have families, you know, a lot of people are looking after their grandparents living at their home. It's going to be really scary for them. People who are on medication, people who need, like, you know,
Yeah.
what's going to happen to people in hospitals?
I just
Like,
took my cousin and her 3 children to Lidl, and we spent £111. Can you imagine that? What a sign from the Most High. £111 we spent in Lidl. And I just got her to buy pasta. I got her to buy tin food,
yeah,
water,
brown rice,
just like brown rice,
yeah,
even paracetamol,
yeah,
small things. I got
water
her to go on
bottles.
Amazon. Yes, I said Amazon. Yeah, she went on Amazon and she bought a like a camping stove.
Yeah.
You know, just small things so that you can.
Carbonated soda
These
as well
things, yeah.
is good for like cleaning stuff, and
you can also buy tablets which purify river water.
right.
Yeah,
That's
like £3, you get like 1,000 of them, and
Thank
each
you.
tablet does 25 liters of water. That could be the difference between
Yeah.
life and death. If something really, remember in 2020, we had people fighting over toilet roll, rice, and petrol.
That was a joke on us, by the way.
It was all a joke, and it was all predictive programming and a test. We can't forget that only happened under 4 years ago. And the world right now is actually even more fragile than it was 4 years ago. So like to not prepare leaves you at a disadvantage, humbly.
That's right, that's right. And you need to look at kind of these celebrity distractions and whatnot. And who's that new rapper, the Dolce? And it's nothing against the sister, but I believe that when mainstream industry are pushing out a tune at a time like this, anxiety, when we're already
anxious,
I would believe that the whole world has PTSD right now just from lockdown and from witnessing like constant death and murder. These are like, these are rituals, these are spells that they're putting on us to dent our auras, to dent our confidence. And, you know, if you're exercising, if you're training, good. So say if a blackout does happen, you know, men like protect the women, women be ready as well to protect yourselves, but be ready to have these conversations with your neighbors just in case. You know, look out for each other. It's not like you can save the world or whatever, but you're in this area. How are you talking to your people? How are you going to work together? And then we've got things like, all right, so say this does happen, and then, all right, the army comes into place. Oh, it's all right, everyone get in this truck and we're going to take you to like the nearest football stadium and you'll all be safe here and we're going to have this food and that food. But then people like ourselves, like even 20 years ago, I was looking at things like FEMA camps.
This is getting deeper now. We need to listen. FEMA camps, let's go.
So it's all about taking away your energy and, like, you know, making you feel helpless. It's PRS, problem, reaction, solution. So let's say a blackout happens. So we're there, we're chilled in our communities. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit weird, but you need to be prepared with food, water filters, first aid, check on that person that you know that lives in your community, the old lady, like whatever. But then say they come with, oh, we're here to help, the military is here. Come and get on this bus. We're going to take you to the local football stadium. Remember lockdown? They're like, oh, so many people are going to die. We've got all these, what were those things they were showing us, like in case people die, and then they're just going to stack
look at like the XL Arena. They created like this whole morgue, basically, didn't they?
Yeah.
Research FEMA camps as well. If you're not sure what a FEMA camp is, these are basically like mass morgues for the preparation of mass death. And
it's similar to how I remember when they were like, oh, you can go on holiday now, but they will stick you in a hotel. But that was almost a small insight to what a FEMA camp was. They were letting people go outside for a certain amount of time. You had to pay an X amount of money to stay there. I don't think it will be this way if there's a blackout. I don't think they're going to charge anyone money. But yeah, you just have to be aware and stick together as much as possible. We don't need to be violent. You know, we can just stand together and say, no, let's just be calm. You know, get generators, get things like that. You know,
one thing I would say as well, from my research, the minimum amount of days that you want to be prepared for is 10 days. Some people say it could be 8 months. And if it's 8 months, then damn, we're really,
we'll start building communities. We're going to be start having little fires, like little campfires. Like, we just don't want to be hurting each other. You know, there's going to be people that think, looting, you know, there's going to be people that, you know, they've got mental health issues. Like, how do we look after them? But of course, look after yourself first. Self-preservation is first, and your family is first, and you are first. But we are communities and we are tribal as humans. That's who we are. So how do we have little conversations with our neighbours now? You know, how do we check on Betty from up the hall who's always isolated? You know,
well, Amy, you were saying earlier to me, there was an elderly couple came up to you and asked about the blackouts.
Yeah,
Can you explain that? Because that's crazy. This is real. Yeah.
Right. So it's not like people like us who are just talking about it. We're not just like gassed and think that like we're here to say, it's not about that. We're following our soul instinct. So I'm just going on a run. You know, it's important to look after your health, look after your lungs, all of that. And this old couple approached me. The lady was like 76 and her husband was a little bit younger. And they were like, oh, do you know about the blackouts? Boom, like that. And I was like, no way, bruv. I was like, no way. I've even got them in my phone now. I saved them as a New World Order. I got their names in. I won't talk their names, but I just said
New World Order couple.
I said New World Order ready. And they said, oh, when your girlfriend comes, please come and see us because, you know, I'm dating a herbalist and that. And she's got her things ready, like herbally things to look after you. And, But anyway, like people are thinking about it, they're ready. So don't be afraid to start that conversation. Don't ever be afraid to think and question things. And even if nothing happens, so what? Don't just sit there watching Netflix and chill and getting entertained by films like The Purge and how things can be turned to anarchy. It doesn't need to be anarchy. This is where we take our power into our hands.
And listen, we want to be wrong. We're not here wanting
to be right. I hope it doesn't happen.
I hope that we're wrong. But at the same time, I'm always going to prepare. And when you look back on history, when you look about when there's a shift in frequency, which we're going through as we go from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius, the fourth industrial revolution, when you know about these things, you have to prepare yourself. Mind, body, and spirit. And it's not just physically, it's spiritually. Are you prepared? Are you prepared to not react emotionally when there's so much race tension happening in the world?
Thank you. Thank you very much. So right now, I know a lot of you can see, and even from George Floyd, so 1 minute it's like, don't go out, there's a deadly virus, don't breathe the air. Next minute is like, a black guy's been killed in front of everyone on purpose. And, you know, you can have a different understanding of that, but I'm looking at it like logically. They're inciting race wars, the whole Tommy Robinson thing, the whole thing that's happening with politics right now. You know, the whole thing with Palestine, which is absolutely devastating. There's loads of, like Congo, it's all happening. But when things are happening in Palestine and white people in England start getting afraid that, like, you know, oh, these Muslims are coming to our country from France and all this, like, it's on purpose. Do you not understand that it's our country that has actually incited a lot of these wars and that our arms dealing and whatnot? So, you know, it's good to understand the realities of what's happening. Just go online and research. And it's not about Google sometimes either. That's an American technology company that's owned by you know who. There's other platforms you can look at. I don't know, Duck and Go, Yandex. I think Yandex is a Russian thing, but also like BitChute. And what's the other one? Not BitChute.
Well, you know, BitChute's just been cancelled in the whole of the United Kingdom. Sad.
Because they've been censoring a lot of information and a lot of people that used to speak up. They've been wiping that from online since lockdown on purpose and leaving you with, like, I don't know, some, not mean to be rude, some airy fairy person talking about it and making it seem a bit flaky.
Well, I'll be rude. Some new age bullshit, man. Some kind of, like, you know, someone that's trying to make it all love and light and doesn't want to face, they want to romanticize this moment instead of facing the facts of what's currently happening.
Detaching themselves from reality. Like, you know, sometimes I swear online and people are like, oh, you swear, you're not spiritual. Like, look, man, I'm fucking raised by wild chavs and that, you know what I mean? And, And I know people that if I was back in my hometown in Crawley, if there was a blackout, like, everyone's all for it and that. People want to look out for each other, but...
Oh, man, I've got friends excited for this, like, you know, but not for the wrong reasons.
People are excited about it. You need to understand your traumas as well. Like, some people that come from traumatic homes, like, they're ready for, like, this thing, but also don't forget that there's some people that are warriors and they're ready for it, but will be calm. And I'm not disrespecting anyone that's come from a traumatic home. Most of us have. So most of us are looking forward to this change, but we want to be, you know, as calm as possible, be smart, be wise. It's a new day. We can be the pioneers of what's happening to a certain extent. I'm not saying that we are invincible. I'm not saying we are untouchable. We don't have tanks. We don't have the army. We don't, you know, they're going to use these things against us. But if we stay calm, and we just say, no, we don't actually want to leave our homes. We don't want to go to these places because we don't feel like they're safe. But there will be people who are so afraid they'll go there. And I don't know. I'm about sticking it out.
And listen, you have to know that you was born for this moment. Nothing is a coincidence. You chose to be born at this very critical time when the earth is changing. And so remaining grounded during it, knowing that you was born for this, means that you're not a victim, means that you're not just unconsciously reacting to everything that's happening. You're actually one step ahead, and you're actually leading the way. So if you're watching this, I guarantee you're a reflection of me and Amy. That means that you're the leader of your family.
You are me,
Ubuntu. You're no doubt the leader of your family. There's no doubt people in your family that think you're crazy. Make the preparations for yourself, for I, but also for the family members that think you're crazy. Because when shit hits the fan, it's not about going, haha, I told you so.
No.
It's about saying, I've got you some food, brothers and sisters.
And it's self-preservation first, like you said, looking after yourself and looking after your family, but energetically, how do we keep things as calm as possible? It's not going to be plain sailing, no. And I want you all to know, and I know a lot of you know, that they have been bombarding us with all this negativity on purpose. It's chaos. Chaos comes order, PRS, problem, reaction, solution. Like, I knew about this when I was like 13. Like, I was researching what made me think this way. I already felt a way when I was a kid, but there wasn't really anyone in my environment who could like nurture my spirituality or certain things that I feel. So then when I got to a certain younger teenage age, I was like, hold on, I'm watching Live Aid. How comes all these charities are always doing this, but nothing's changing? Why is nothing changing? And then it went to, who invented money? Who's the federal banking system? Who's this? Who's that? Like, all the information is there, and they put it out there on purpose because their rituals don't work unless they tell us what they're doing. But it's not to create fear, it's just to be prepared. And I hope that none of this happens, but be prepared. Research online. How do you prep? What are the basic things you need? Obviously food, water, first aid things. People in your home that live in your home who have sort of any medical issues, make sure you've got certain things stocked up that they're going to need. I don't know what else to say. I'm just like you. I'm just like you, you know. I go down a pub, or I just, you know, I watch EastEnders. Like, we're all here together and that. Like, if the lights go out, don't be afraid. You are the light in the dark. And that's okay. Like, no one's better than anyone. Just keep your community calm and have these conversations with your neighbours if they're willing to do so. Even if you're joking about it. Humour's always a great way, but
listen to your heart. Know that there's a major change happening, and that you're the one responsible to lead it. If you're watching this, because you're a reflection of me and Amy, I have no doubt that we have already won, by the way. We're just seeing it through, but it requires courage, and it requires a resilience, and it requires to remain grounded. And
to the people that are religious, who, you know, I have no issue with that. If whatever keeps your faith going, keeps it going. But a lot of religions are like, it's the end of days, it's this and that. That's already doom and gloom. Like, it's the beginning of a new day. It's the beginning. Life isn't over. The earth is absolutely beautiful and magical, and so are you. So just be prepared. That's it. That's the message. Be calm and be prepared, and talk.
More life.
Love. Salute.